Hello, Dylan Cummings here for Rollt.Magazin, here with Jannik Blair. Jannik, how are you doing?
I'm good, Dylan. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Good to be talking to you again. You're a good laugh. So, look, I've been looking forward to this interview for a long time. So.
Me too.
All right, so Jannik, we'll just fire into them. First question I've got for you is, why did you decide to move to Lahn-Dill?
I guess a few different motives. One of the primary ones, I guess, is like Lahn-Dill has obviously been one of the premier clubs in wheelchair basketball in Europe and the world for the last 20 plus years. So professionally speaking, I think it was a move in the right direction in terms of being able to achieve some sort of specific sporting related goals that I have. I think Lahn-Dill is a great place to be able to do that in terms of competing in Champions Cup and then obviously the German League and other German competitions. So those are some of the key motives, plus the opportunity to live in another country, to learn another culture, to experience another culture, and yeah, just immerse myself in that is something that's always excited me. It's one of the things that most excited me about when I first went to Bilbao. It's like that continues to excite me now. It's just new experiences with new people, a new club, new country, all those things. So I was really happy with my time in Bilbao, but it probably run its course. I had a great 4 years there, and then was just keen to look at the next adventure in life, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And then you mentioned sport related goals there, and you mentioned the Champions Cup. Would you say that was the sort of primary motive as to why you've come to Lahn-Dill?
Yeah, I would say so. Like it's when you look at Lahn-Dill as opposed to some other clubs, they've been one of the, I guess, the mainstays in the Champions Cup competition. And there were some other clubs that come and go that are able to compete for a few years and then drift off. And I think that's one of the things that differentiates Lahn-Dill from a lot of other clubs is their ability to maintain themselves amongst the top couple of teams in Europe. So yeah, that's certainly a big motivator.
Yeah, definitely. And then you also mentioned about culture. What have you made of German culture so far?
I've only been here for 2 weeks, so I guess I haven't experienced too much yet, but I've been surprised with the weather thus far. Granted, it's only September, so it hasn't gotten too cold, so I've been making the most of that. Gießen, where I live, the city where most of the players in Lahn-Dill live, is really, really nice. It's a smaller city, but yeah, really nice atmosphere and lifestyle here. Big university, so pretty young population, and then obviously it's a historical town being in Germany, which for an Aussie, we always get a kick out of that, or generally do. So just seeing the history and then being able to be a part of it is awesome.
That's great. Really pleased you're enjoying it so far. And that leads me on to my next question. So you've obviously got a fairly decent skill set. You're a very skilled player. So how do you think your skill set will benefit the team this season?
Yeah, I'm excited to see that myself. It's always one of the exciting things about moving into a new club is you're playing in a new style, new game style, and it's interesting to see where I'm going to fit into that, what sort of role I'll have. I think I've been pretty diverse in how I've played over the last probably 10 years. So I guess I'm happy and prepared to do whatever is necessary for the team, whatever will best contribute toward a successful team. So yeah, I guess that'll be more up to Janet and the playing group, and then we'll see where I'll slot in. But I'm pretty versatile and happy to do anything, I guess. Even if it's just on the end of the pine, getting around the boys, I'm happy to do that too. So or if just on so no, I'm excited.
That's great. That's good. And then that so obviously Lahn-Dill are a club full of very talented players. Is there anyone in particular you're excited to work with? And if so, why? And that could go like player-wise, team staff-wise, anyone that stands out.
Yeah, at this point, I would have to say particularly the two Japanese boys. Just after the tournament that they had in Tokyo, they played exceptionally well. Though Hiro and Rio, as well as Chokai, unfortunately, Lahn-Dill haven't signed Chokai. I wish they would. But yeah, being able to play with the other two is going to be an incredible experience. If they play anything close to how they played in Tokyo, I think we'll have a super successful year. So, but yeah, I've obviously been playing against those guys for pretty much my entire international career, Australia and Japan. We play against each other often, being in the Asia-Oceania zone, and we have a really good playing relationship. But yeah, I'm excited to actually play on the same team as opposed to against. And then, yeah, the rest of them, we've got, yeah, a pretty star-studded team. So, yeah, excited to play with everybody, really. So,
yeah, I bet you that the training sessions will be very, very fun.
yeah,
very jealous of the amount of talent that's in those sessions.
Mm.
Yeah, that leads me to my next question. What challenges do you think you'll face in the German league?
I guess the primary challenge, being singular, would be Thüringen. I think it's pretty obvious that there's a really strong rivalry in the German league between Lahn-Dill and Thüringen, and I think that's one of the main reasons I'm excited to be here, is to form part of that rivalry. And I think that'll be the primary on-court challenge that we'll have. I think there's some other decent clubs in the German league, but probably maybe not quite on the same level. So I think that'll be probably one of the challenges, is being able to maintain a consistent season, looking toward the back end. But I guess you can't look too far ahead. It's the cliche. You got to take it 1 week at a time, and that's ultimately all you can do. So, but yeah, the training sessions, as you say, will be a super high standard, and just being able to manage that, I guess, with the commitments on the weekends. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be certainly a busy year with plenty to do.
Definitely. And then your former Bilbao teammate Jordi Ruiz is now signed for the Bulls. So you're going to go from playing alongside him to now playing against him. So I bet you're really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I have a really good relationship with Jordi, both on and off the court. So I'm excited to play with him. I hope his new adventure in the Bulls goes really well. I know he was super excited about that opportunity. Yeah, I think both the Bulls and he will benefit from that. And yeah, maybe more excited to have a few beers with him afterwards, whether it's in Wetzlar or I'm not sure the name of the town where he lives, but or in Gießen or sorry.
Elksleben.
Say that again.
Elksleben.
Yeah, wherever that is. Or if we meet in Berlin or wherever it's got to be. Yeah, I'm certainly excited for that. So
lads holiday in Berlin. That sounds good.
Sounds like a good idea to me. I know Jordy's a big fan of the Nordic countries, so maybe we'll take a little trip up to Denmark or Sweden or something. So
yeah, nice one. Yeah, and you've been to Denmark before, so you'll be able to show them around.
That's right.
All right. Right. So that leads me on to my next question. How do you think the styles of play will differ between Lahn-Dill and Bilbao?
Yeah, I think in general, you would say the difference between the German teams and Spanish, where the Germans are probably a more defensively orientated league and teams. So that was one thing we noticed when we came to Champions Cup, is that we just struggled to contain them defensively, and their defensive intensity was something that we weren't maybe as accustomed to in the Spanish league. And the Spanish league, I would say, is more offensive based, and here, it's maybe a little bit smaller in terms of the size that you have on the court, but maybe with better chair skills and more mobile defenders and higher defensive intensity. So that's probably the main thing that I noticed playing in Champions Cup against German clubs, and I think it's something that would be the main differentiator between the two.
And even though Lahn-Dill's a great club, I think some would say that the overall Spanish league is slightly stronger compared to the German league. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I haven't played in the German league yet, so I'm sure I can give a better opinion after having played a season here. But yeah, just looking at the team list, you would say that through 1 through 12, the Spanish league is deeper. There's more competition on a week-to-week basis than the German league. I would hope the German league is progressing, is getting better slowly, but those things take time. Certainly the Spanish league didn't become the strongest league overnight. It was a slow process. So sometimes you just got to be a part of that. Speaking to older guys that used to play in the Spanish league years ago, apparently used to just be a one-team or a two-team affair with Olunion or Fondosa in those times, with 1 or 2 other teams to compete with. Now you're probably looking at 8 teams, maybe more, that can compete all within each other to take games. So I would hope that the German league moves in the same direction, because that's what makes what we do enjoyable, is having to compete every weekend. So and then obviously that puts more importance probably on the Champions Cup competitions, because that's where you get a chance to play against the top Spanish teams, and there's a lot of them. And then I think there's going to be some nice clubs in the French league this year, and Turkish as well. So yeah, it'll be an interesting Champions Cup once we get around to it.
Yeah, I'm already looking forward to it, even though it's months and months away.
Yeah,
fun.
sure.
Moving away from Lahn-Dill, just for the moment, who would you say has influenced you the most in your career?
My basketball career. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, early days it would obviously have to be Australian players. I was super fortunate to play with probably the golden era of Australian wheelchair basketball when I came into the game. So yeah, shared the court with probably our greatest starting five in that sense. Like when I was playing with Justin and Brad and Sean and Mikey, and then before me was Brendan Dowler primarily. Like those guys had played together for 15 or 20 years. Four of them being from Perth, and they'd played such a long stretch of wheelchair basketball together. They knew each other so well, and they were some of the best players in the world. And then I was lucky enough just to slot in there when I was sort of 18, 19 years old, and enjoyed that for the first 4 or 5 years of my international career. So those guys that I just mentioned are probably had a huge impact on me initially. And then since then, I guess playing in Alabama, I had some great teammates in Bo Hedges and Jared Arambula for a year. And then coming to Bilbao, playing with Josh Turek was a pretty incredible experience, both on and off the court. We got along really well. Someone I consider one of my closer friends today. And then, yeah, more recent times, playing with Tom has been a pretty exciting experience, sort of forming part of that next generation of Aussie players. And then, yeah, I'm sure it'll be a pretty incredible experience playing with some of the guys here in Lahn-Dill. So, yeah, I've been pretty blessed to have played with a wide array of talented players.
Yeah, that's great. See, yeah, there seems to be, like you say, a load of talented players that's influenced you a lot along the way.
And just before another guy I should mention is another guy, Sean Groenewegen, who some guys that would, I guess, hopefully some people would listen to this interview would know him. He played for the Australian team for a number of years and then played a couple of years professionally in Spain. Just an incredible basketball player that probably, in my opinion, hung it up too early. But yeah, he's super, super talented, and just the way that he saw the game and read the game was second to none. So in my early days, my mid to late teens, played with him in my club team in Melbourne, and it was, yeah, incredible. Such a talented guy, and learned so much from him. So
that's great to hear. And hopefully, if some of the people don't know some of these names, they'll be able to go on YouTube and hopefully look them up. They can find any old footage. Moving forward, what would you say was the best piece of advice someone gave you in basketball?
Like on the court, I guess you mean, or just in
on the court, off the court, just either.
Off the court, I'd have to say it's I guess, and I've said this before on on a podcast, is be where you are, not where you're not, and sort of like make the most of the opportunity wherever you are in the world. So I was told that before I went to college in Missouri 2010, so yeah, 11 years ago. And I think you can apply it as much to on the court as off the court. It's just a good piece of advice, is to, yeah, make the most of the situation you're in. If you've made a decision, then back yourself in on it, and yeah, do everything you can to make the most of that opportunity. So
yeah, so in a way, sort of like live in the moment and just enjoy
it. Sure. And yeah, yep.
All right, so that leads me on to my next question that I've got for you. Just give me 1 second. If you could choose 3 players who you've never trained with before, who would you choose and why?
Yeah, well, the first one, and I think I answered this question in a written interview a few years ago. We did one with Tom, and I said Chokai. And at that point in time, I think he was pretty unknown, which he's definitely not now after Tokyo, and he would still be my number 1 pick. So long as there's more to train with, not against, because I think it would be a pretty rough experience to have to go against him. Then outside of that, really put too much thought into it. I think it would be fun to, like some of the other Japanese guys, which I'll have that experience tonight, is our first practice session. So with Hiro and Rio, I think there'll be 2 other guys that I've been keen to have trained with for a number of years and finally get that opportunity. So yeah, just I guess pretty much the Japanese national team, if I could somehow slot my way in there for a training camp or 2, I'd be pretty happy.
I reckon you learn a lot from those guys. They seem to be from what I've seen, a bunch of good guys, and obviously they're improving up the ranks as we speak. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what they bring, especially in World next year as well. It's going to be interesting if they can keep up that. From Tokyo.
Yeah, probably another guy maybe it would be from South Korea, Big Kim. We call him the Drop Bear in Australia. He's just an incredible player. I'm not sure how he would be to train with, but certainly when he plays, he brings just a lot of hustle. The way he moves his chair for a big fella as well, he's impressive. So I wouldn't mind having a hit out with him as well, or maybe just having a few beers with him afterwards. He probably looks more like that kind of operator. So
yeah. Well, yeah, he certainly impressed me in Tokyo. I think that was the first time I got to see him play in person. So yeah, really impressive. And then that leads me to my final question: is that so how do you aim to bring success to Lahn-Dill?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just doing what I do, just forming part of the team. Like I'm more than happy and prepared, as I said earlier, to play any role that I need to. I'm fortunate enough in this stage of my career to have a lot of experience, to play with a lot of teams, to play with a lot of successful teams, and then some teams that have just missed out on that sort of success. So experienced a lot of varying things in wheelchair basketball, and yeah, more than happy to be able to bring that to the table and provide that experience or some additional experience to an already very experienced team. And just more than happy to play whichever role needs to be played, which I think in a team is what you need. You need guys that are pretty flexible, that don't come in with a certain game style in their mind and aren't willing to adjust that. So I think generally speaking in sports, it's not necessarily a matter of having the right game plan. It's about having a game plan that everyone agrees on and everyone buys into. I think there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I think if everyone's on board and buys into the system, then I think you can have success in a number of different ways. But it's important to have everyone bought in, everyone on the same page. So I'm certainly more than happy to do my part in that sense, and I think the rest of the guys are as well. So I think it's why hopefully we'll have a pretty successful year.
Yeah, well, I hope so too, Jannik, and thank you very much for doing this. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
No, I mean, just for anyone that's in the Lahn-Dill region or Gießen-Wetzlar region that wants to come and check us out, please do. And then otherwise online. But yeah, just excited to be back playing in front of fans. That I'm pretty sure most of the European leagues are opening their stadiums now, which is going to be awesome. And yeah, welcoming back our supporters, which it's been too long. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think Lahn-Dill have had supporters in their new arena yet. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, once again, Jannik, thank you very much for doing this. And hopefully the next time I'll see you in person will be at the end of October when you play the Bulls. Hopefully I'll get out to Germany for that, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, it should be a cracking match. So who's your tip just going in? Who's your preseason tip?
What, to win the league?
Or yeah, I mean, you can give that game and then the league, Champions Cup. Who do you think is gonna?
I don't know. I think
Bulls Lahn-Dill. Who do you think is gonna win?
Right, look. Oh man, right. I hate to say this because you know how much I love you, Jannik, but I'm gonna have to say the Bulls just because it'd be stupid to bet against them after they won the league last season. So I mean, I thought Lahn-Dill was gonna win it last season, but obviously Bulls came out on top. So I'm gonna be the smart man and say the Bulls.
Okay, fair enough. I'll remind you of that in a few months down the track.
Yeah, I think, and then if you guys beat them, I think I owe you like several beers. So,
I think you do, yeah. And then outside of that, who do you think will be the main contenders in Champions Cup?
What? Like, how many do you want me to name? Like top 4 or?
Yeah, top 4. You can do top 8 if you like, but yeah, top 4.
Yeah, top 4. I'd say Lahn-Dill, Bulls, Albacete, and either Gran Canaria or Union.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, but I'm excited to have the sort of the Champions League rounds back as well, because then you get a wider scope of the picture, and 8 teams aren't just picked.
Yeah.
But but it should be good. I'm really looking forward to it.
For sure. Me too.
All right, Jannik. Well, once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
All right, see you in a bit.